Hari Om. We'll chant first verse of fourth chapter. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Chaturthodhyayah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Bravid. So we saw in the second chapter and the third chapter, Bhagwan gives the twofold path which is mentioned in our Vedas. They are called the Pravrutti Marga and Nivrutti Marga. Pravrutti Marga means path of action. Nivrutti Marga is path of renunciation, finally realizing our own self. So these are the twofold path mentioned in the Vedas, twofold dharma. So Bhagwan says that this pravrutti marga, we have to perform our duties as per our station in life. Varnashrama dharma it is called. So when those duties are offered to Ishvara and done with the attitude of total love and surrender, then it becomes Karma Yoga. And this Karma Yoga purifies our mind and makes us ready for that Nivrutti Marga, the Jnana Marga. So when our mind becomes ready, we develop Jidnyasa and that thirst to realize our own self, know our own self. Then the Nivrutti Marga begins. We gain the knowledge of the self through Shravan and Manan, the help of the scripture and the teacher, and then we meditate and realize our own self, Nididhyasan. So there is the transition from the Karma Yoga to Jnana. Slowly the transition happens. The mind starts becoming more and more pure, and we finally reach the stage when we can gain this knowledge. So Karma Yoga, we have to fulfill our duties. So there are various duties are there towards ourselves, towards the society, world, devatas, ancestors, etc. But there are certain special karmas mentioned which further help to purify our mind. Those are called upasanas. One is our duty. Another is some upasanas are there which help to purify our mind further. Because the whole idea of Karma Yoga is to purify our mind. So some special karmas are there which are called upasana, which help us to purify our mind and take us further towards knowledge. And finally, we have to gain knowledge by approaching a teacher. So this Karma Yoga and how it transforms, or in that is added the upasana, and how it reaches that stage of knowledge, that has to be told. So that is being told in this fourth chapter. Though it begins with Bhagwan mentioning the parampara of this knowledge. The knowledge began with Bhagwan only, and he, in this first 3 verses of the fourth chapter, he mentions the parampara of this knowledge, and from his side he concludes. But then Arjuna, he asks some more question, And Bhagavad Gita continues. Otherwise it would have stopped here only. So this, if we include these 3 verses of this chapter and the previous verses, it comes to 108 verses. So 108 verses are like the 108 beads mala we have. So if we have to keep on repeating it, the japa mala we have to keep repeating. So this, what is mentioned here, we have to keep contemplating upon them, understanding and applying it in our life. So Bhagavan says, he begins this chapter by saying that this knowledge which I have given to you, the Karma Yoga leading to Jnana Yoga, this knowledge, Bhagavan says, I had given this to Vivasvan. When the Shrishti, when the whole creation happened, and when the Lord's Son was born, to that Lord's Son, this knowledge was given. And that is the Mula Purush of the solar dynasty. So the son of Lord's Son was Manu. Manu is the one who has given us the Manu Smriti, which are the laws or codes of conduct about dharma he has mentioned there. They are the ancestors of Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji. So imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam. This indestructible yoga, because it doesn't get destroyed, it always remains. And also it is called avyayam because it gives that indestructible result, that is moksha. The result which we gain by following this path, moksha, is eternal. See, if we gain the result of any karma in this world, it doesn't last. It comes to an end. However much we may get through karma, it comes to an end. But when we follow this path of karma and then leading to knowledge, and then jnana nishtha, abidance in that knowledge which gives moksha, that moksha is eternal. Therefore Bhagavan calls this yoga which leads to that moksha also eternal, avyayam. So imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam. This avyay yoga, I taught this to the Lord's Son when in the beginning of creation. Sargadav. Then Vivasvan Manave Praha. Then Vivasvan gave this knowledge to his son. See, we get lot of things from our parents, but one of the main thing which the parents we should inherit from them is this knowledge of dharma and brahma, the knowledge of dharma. Baki we inherit property and all, it remains here only. But what is important is dharma, because that is how this knowledge comes from our parampara only. And this parampara is a kula parampara, in a family itself. You don't have to go somewhere else. In the family itself, the parents is to teach the children the path of dharma, then they will teach to their children. In this way, the parampara was maintained. Even our surnames and all are there, which have connection with the Vedas only. Chaturvedi and Trivedi and all. And also connection with the Rishi Munis. All our Gotras, they take us back to the Rishi Munis. Bharadwaj Gotra and Kashyap Gotra and all. They take us back to the Rishis. Because that is the main thing which we have inherited from the Rishis. And it is our duty to pass it on to the children, and they pass it on to their children. That is the parampara. Parampara means para se apara, ऊपर से नीचे ऐसी बहती जाती है गंगा की तरह, अविरल. But sometimes some problem occurs and it stops. Some parents themselves don't know, so what will they give to children? Then the children are ignorant. Then they give to even less to their children. So in this way, the great knowledge sometimes get lost. But Vivaswan gave this to his son Manu. Manu is also the first of our all Manushya, all human beings, our forefather. So Manu Bhagwan, he also assimilated this knowledge. He gave the sar of this in that Manusmriti. And then he gave this knowledge to his son, Ikshvaku, who became the king. So, before he became the king, Manu gave this knowledge to his son. And then Ikshvaku, he gave it to his son. So, in this way, this parampara of this knowledge continued. So, Manu Ikshvakave Bravet. Further, Bhagwan says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa parampara praptam. Evam parampara praptam. In this way, this knowledge was acquired through parampara, through tradition. Because this, the tradition is a very great strength actually, that it continues for years together. It goes on and on and on. So, through tradition, this knowledge continues. Therefore, actually one should be very careful about this, our very sublime and good tradition which is there. One should see that it continues. Many extra wise people come and they try to break the tradition. Try to be intellectual, pseudo-intellectual, and we come up with our own theory, कि ऐसा नहीं ये तो गलत है, so they try to break the tradition. And it harms not only them, but all the future generation. Khatam fir. Because that fellow just stops the tradition. So it doesn't go to his children, then it doesn't go to their children. So it creates a big gap in this tradition. But this tradition Bhagwan started, parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. And this particular tradition Bhagwan is talking about in the Kshatriya Vamsha. So Rajarshi means one who is Raja, means a Kshatriya, as well as a Rishi, a great wise person who knows about the Vedas, who knows about this path. So in this way, this Rajarshis, they came to gain this knowledge. And for years together, this is going on. See, we are at present, we are living in the what you call, it's called the Shvetavaraha Kalpa, in which the Manu is called at Vaivasvata Manu, is the seventh Manu. You might wonder what is seventh Manu and all. See that the whole Srishti, which is the whole cosmos, we have what you call the time scale which is mentioned in our scriptures is very vast. At present we are living in Kali Yuga. Just it began 5,000 years ago, Kali Yuga. But this is not the first Kali Yuga. There had been many Kali Yugas. Not only Kali Yuga, but other yugas also. So Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, these are called Chatur Yugas. They come again and again. So in what you call, in one day of Brahmaji, so many times this Kali Yuga and Treta Yuga and all come. And in Manvantaras also come. In one day of Brahmaji, 14 Manvantaras are there. Means Manus come. Different Manu. And each Manvantar is of 71 Chaturyuga. The duration of each Manvantar is 71 Chaturyuga. The present Manvantar is Vaivasvata Manu. The name of all the Manus are also given in our scriptures. So at present Vaivasvata Manu. So when we do the Sankalpa also, if you must have noticed that when you do puja and all, sometimes traditional the Sankalpa is taken. He says, Adya Brahmane Dvitiya Pararde Shri Shvetavaraha Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Kali Yuge Prathama Charne Bauddhavatare Shalivana Shake Jambudvipe. In this way we do the Sankalpa, saying that when the creation began with Brahmaji, now he has reached 50 years and his 51st year has begun of Brahmaji. And in that 51st year, the first day, and each day has got its name, it's called Kalpa. Each day of Brahmaji has got a special name. So this is called Shvetavaraha Kalpa, the name of today of Brahmaji. Is Shvetavaraha Kalpa. In that one day of Brahmaji, 1000 Chaturyugas come and go. 1000. And in that 14 Manus come. Each of this Manvantar is about 71 Chaturyugas. In between some gap is also there after one Manvantara is over. So, all this I am saying that these are mentioned in our scriptures about this vast time scale. So, in the present Manvantar, Manu Bhagwan had 10 children and the eldest was Ikshvaku, and he gave this knowledge to that Ikshvaku. But it's a long passage of time. So Bhagwan says, in this long passage of time, this parampara gets a little bit disturbed, खंडित हो जाती है. एवं परंपरा प्राप्तम राजर्षयो विदुः स काले नेह महता. In that vast time scale, yogo nashta parantapa, this parampara of this yoga got little disturbed, khandit ho gayi. It gets what you call colored, it gets polluted, it stops, all these things happen. Like you must have played what you call the Chinese whisper game and all. You whisper something in one person's ear and that fellow has to tell the same thing to the other fellow's ear. And then the third one, then the fourth. And if you just take even 10 people, and by the time it comes back, it must have got so much distorted. So same thing happened with this parampara, that due to the passage of such a long time, it gets disturbed, it gets what you call polluted, a lot of interpolation happens, misunderstanding and wrong notions and all come. So similarly Bhagwan says it has happened now also. During his time he is telling कि स काले नेह महता योगो नष्ट परंतप. This yoga has got destroyed. The parampara got destroyed because of time. He is not blaming any person. He is not saying this person has done it or that person, but because of the passage of time that this has got disturbed. Therefore, Bhagwan has given this knowledge so that this parampara again gets refreshed and continues. Just like we have this different, like even in electricity, you produce that electricity at one place and then you have to carry it through the wires. after a long passage, the strength of that electricity goes down. Then they have to have some transformers and all to boost that, and then again it continues. Similarly, due to a long passage of time, the parampara got little disturbed. Therefore, Bhagavan says in the next verse, he says, Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta purhatanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hyetaduttamam sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha. Bhagavan says, Sa eva, the same knowledge which I had given to Lord Sun, the same knowledge which was there with Manu, with Ikshvaku, and which was all there in this parampara, Bhagavan says, same knowledge I have given now to you. Sa eva ayam maya te adya yoga prokta puratanaha. This Puratana, this most ancient knowledge, I have revealed to you, hey Arjuna. This is the most fascinating. It's a sar actually. The Vedic knowledge which was given to the great Lord Sun and others, Bhagavan has given it briefly in this Bhagavad Gita, so that in Kali Yuga, we don't have that much capacity to comprehend to complex things. So Bhagavan has given the simple, the basic thing which we have to remember. The path of dharma, then karma yoga, jnana yoga. Simple 2-3 things he has mentioned. Because ज़्यादा ग्रहण करने की capacity नहीं होती है. Because of all our distractions and all, we are not able to comprehend the complexities, the depth of the Vedic knowledge. So briefly Bhagavan has given this to us through Arjuna for our own good. So sa eva ayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha. This ancient knowledge I have given to you. Why Bhagavan gave to Arjuna? What was so special about Arjuna? So he himself says कि भक्तोसि में सखा चेति, that you are my bhakta and you are my sakha, my friend. Both things he mentioned. Bhakta means a devotee, one who has great love and great reverence, great faith in Bhagavan is called bhakta. But here he also wanted a friend also. See, bhakta is one who just blindly accepts certain things, may not discuss, may not ask question, because of that reverence is there. But a friend is considers the other person as equal, and he, without hesitation, he asks. Because unless you ask, the real depth of that doesn't come. So here Arjuna, in this first 2 chapters itself, he has asked so many questions. So then Bhagavan says, you are my friend also, and you are my great bhakta also. Therefore I gave this knowledge to you, not only to you, but through you it will go to everyone. Therefore bhaktosi me sakha cheti. The relationship of Bhagavan and Arjuna is of bhakta and Bhagavan, and sakha also, a friend. So bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hyetaduttamam. This great supreme secret I have revealed to you, O Arjuna. Realize. And all of us also should realize that what is said in Bhagavad Gita is a grand secret. कभी कभी we don't understand the the what you call the greatness of it. So it's a grand secret because it will release us from all our bondage, give us moksha. No other knowledge can give us moksha. All knowledge will keep us bound to this world only. All knowledge except this is about the world. It will keep us bound to this world. But this is a liberating knowledge which Bhagavan says, I have revealed to you. So till here, the 108 verses, which began with the 11th verse of the second chapter, where Bhagavan began his teaching. And here, by giving this parampara, and by saying that I have given the same knowledge to you, which I had revealed to the Lord's Son, the Vedic knowledge, Bhagavan concludes his teaching as though. But now, we might have some doubt. What is the doubt? We might have this doubt that Bhagavan was born in this Dwapar Yuga, and Lord's Son and all were born the beginning of this Kalpa, a long time ago. So how is it possible that Bhagavan must have given this knowledge? Others might have this doubt. Arjuna did not have. Others who might come in future, if we have this doubt, then we don't listen to that further teaching and all, because udhar hi gaadi hamari ruk jati hai. We start investigating that itself. We say, how can he say like that? And if he is telling lie about his own thing, then आगे पता नहीं क्या बोल दिया उन्होंने, नहीं? If the very first line itself is a lie, then why to read the next all this? So those type of doubt, or that doubt might come in future generation, which should not come. With this intention, Arjuna is asking this question. So what is Arjuna's question? He says, Arjuna vacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah katham etad vijaniyam त्वमादौ प्रोक्तवानिति अपरं भवतो जन्म परं जन्म विवस्वतः कथमेतद्विजानीयाम्. Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna means one who is straightforward, clear cut in his mind, no crookedness in his mind, in his attitude. So he is asking this question, कि हे भगवान, that aparam bhavato janmaha, your janma was recently. Bhagwan was a little elder to Arjuna, so your janma is recent. I know about your janma, I have heard the story how you were born and all in Mathura. So it was just recent. And Param Janma Vivasvataha, and this Vivasvan, the Lord's Son, he was born much before. The beginning of this Srishti he was born, and you were born recently. So there is this contradiction, or there is this great doubt I have. Katham etad vijaniyam. How can I understand this? See, this is so much of respect and reverence Arjuna is having. He is not saying that you are telling a lie. He is saying that I have not understood what you have said. So please tell me, how can I understand this? How can I understand that you only gave this knowledge to, because I know that you are not lying, you are telling the truth. So there must be some more details which I might have missed, because of which I am not understanding this. So please tell me, katham etad vijaniyam? How can I understand? Tvam adav proktavan iti, that this knowledge was given by you only in the beginning. How can I understand? Because your life story I know. And in this life, I don't hear any story that you have given this knowledge to Lord's Son. And anyway, Manu and all are not there now. So how this knowledge was given by you to Lord's Son? So that is not very clear to me. How can I understand? Now, to make Arjuna understand this, Bhagavan talks about his avatars now. It's the most fascinating portion, and it's a totally a speciality of this, what the Vedas and the Upanishads and the Puranas, our Mahabharata, Ramayana talks about this avatar. It is not mentioned in any other scriptures of this world. Though many people, they have picked up this word avatar and they make movies also on that. So let us see what it is. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bahuni me Vyatitani Janmani Tava Charjuna Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Natvam Vetha Parantapa Bahuni me Vyatitani Janmani Tavata Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Natvam Vetha Parantapa. Bhagavan says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Here, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the avatar of Bhagavan, of Ishvara. So Ishvara is that Brahma, that supreme reality itself is called Ishvara, and who wields his power called Maya or Prakriti. So that Ishvara is speaking. Ishvara is one, but the Jivas are many. All of us are called Jivas. So Jivas are infinite. Ishvara is one. God is one. The Supreme God is one. All other than that Ishvara, all are Jivas only. Even the other gods we mention about Indra, Varun, Kuber, all of them are also Jivas, including Brahmaji. Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha, is also Jiva. But only there is one Ishvara. And that Ishvara alone is having this power over his own power called Maya or Prakriti. Nobody can have power over Ishvara's Maya or Ishvara's Prakriti. Others are getting little power by Bhagavan's grace only. But he is the one who is wielding the entire power of Maya or Prakriti. So Ishvara also takes Janma, and Jivas also are born. Ishvara also is born and Jivas also are born. Both of us, we take birth. Bhagavan also takes birth and we also take birth. But there is a difference. Both of us, we have taken many births. Bhagavan says, Bahuni me Vyatitani Janmani Tava Charjuna. Charjuna doesn't mean 4th June. It's a Cha Arjuna. Some people they say, 4 जून को भगवान का जन्म हो गया. So Bhagavan says, Bahuni me Vyatitani Janmani Tava Charjuna. Hey Arjuna, Tava and me and mine, Bahuni Janmani Vyatitani. Our many births have taken place. See, all of us sitting here, we are our little jivas. We have taken infinite births in different life forms. All the life form which you see in this world now, we have gone through them. All. Millions of them are there. Doesn't matter. We are this. And you know how each lifetime can take so many years like. पेड़ बन गए तो ऐसे एक ही जगह पर कितने साल एकदम. Some trees, they last for such a long time. There are some huge trees which they are so senior to all of us. They last so many years. So the trees and the the bacteria and the birds and fish and human being, animals, devatas, yaksha, kinnara, gandharva, so many different types of beings are there. All of them are jivas only, of different categories, different grades. See, the jivas, what is the difference? Everyone, we have our body, we have our antakarana, we have our what you call indriyas, and there is a prana. So the prana, indriyas, antakarana is our sukshma sharir. And then the gross physical body is called stula sharir. So we have the stula sharir, we have the sukshma sharir. And when we die, we just leave that stula sharir behind, but carry that sukshma sharir with us. So that sukshma sharir doesn't die. It has not died. Right from beginningless time, we have this sukshma sharir, our mana buddhi, chitta, hankar and indriyas and prana and all, and goes from one life form to another life form. Why are we taking birth again and again and again? To fulfill our desires. We were ignorant about our own self. This avidya, that is ignorance of my own self, is anadi. Anadi means beginningless. Today I am ignorant, I don't know who am I. Yesterday I knew? No. Yesterday also did not. Last life I knew? No. Last life. So it is beginningless. My ignorance about myself is beginningless. And due to this ignorance, I have different types of desires. And in order to fulfill those desires, I work. And in order to work, in order to have the environment to fulfill those desires, Bhagwan supplies this environment by creating this world. He creates with his Maya, he creates this world so that jivas can fulfill their desires. It's like the mother having 10 children and 10 of them have different desires to eat. किसी को एक चाहिए, किसी को और कुछ चाहिए. But they themselves cannot do anything. Mother has got the capacity to do. So they just express their desire and mother makes those different dishes and feed them. Similarly, jivas have desires but don't have capacity to fulfill. Ishvara doesn't have desire, but he has got the capacity to fulfill. He creates this world, he gives us different life forms, so that we go through all this in order to fulfill our desires. And in this process, finally, we also become a human being. Everyone becomes human. We gain the ability to think, to decide, to function in a different way. An opportunity is given to us as human being to come to become aware of this great path by which we can gain moksha also. So Bhagavan says, Bahoni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna. Not only the jivas, but Ishvara also is born again and again and again. That birth of Ishvara is called avatar. Ishvara taking a particular form, appear to take some different forms, is called avatar. Avatar, this term is used only for Ishvara's birth, not for Jiva's birth. Jivas are born again and again, they are not called avatar. But Ishvara, when he takes this birth, is called avatar. And his avatars are mentioned in our scriptures. You cannot add more avatars to them, or you cannot delete from them. They are all fixed, mentioned. In Bhagavad Puran, they have mentioned about 26 avatars. I will just briefly read the names of this avatar. You don't have to worry about them. In the sense, you have to pray for them. They have mentioned in Bhagavad Puran the 4 Kumaras, Sanat Kumar and all. There are 4 Kumaras, are there Bhagwan's avatar. Then Varaha avatar, Bhagwan as a wild boar. Then Narada avatar. Then Bhagwan also took Naranarayan avatar. Then Kapila avatar. Then Dattatreya. Dattatreya avatar is a great avdhut like. See, in every yuga, Bhagwan takes this avatar. In the sense, different yugas, Bhagwan takes different avatars. It's a repetitive. The thing about this world is repetitive. Though we might think that, oh, it's such a boring thing, but for every one of us, it's always new. For the jivas, it is everything is always new. And Bhagwan doesn't get bored. He doesn't get bored by taking the same avatar. In every Treta Yuga, he comes as Ram. He doesn't get tired. अरे पिछली बार भी आ गया था कितनी परेशानी. Nothing like that. He just comes. But for Jiva, every Jiva during that era will be new only for them. Everything is new. So Dattatreya avatar, very beautiful avatar of Bhagwan. Then Yajna avatar. Then Rishabhadev. Bhagwan also became a great and he renounced everything. As a Rishab, he took sannyas and all. Then Prithu avatar, beautiful king, he became a very dharmic. Then Matsya avatar of a fish. Then Kurma avatar. During that Samudra Manthan, the whole Samudra started sinking down. Then Bhagwan took Kurma avatar and he balanced that Parvat. Yes. Then Dhanvantari avatar. Then Mohini avatar. Bhagwan took one avatar to delude this. When that Amrut came, all this, they took it and ran away, this Rakshasas and all. Then Bhagwan had to take Mohini avatar to retrieve it. Then we have Narsimha avatar as a man and lion. Then Vamana avatar. Little Vaman Bhagwan became, and then he went to Bali Raja and he asked for 3 steps of land, and then Bhagwan took a huge form. Bali means Vamana avatar. Then Parshuram avatar. He destroyed the Kshatriyas who had become very arrogant and all, so he destroyed all the Kshatriyas. Then Vyasa avatar. Ved Vyasji is also Bhagwan's avatar. Then Sri Ram avatar. Then Krishna avatar. Then Balaram avatar, Bhagwan Krishna's brother. Then in Kali Yuga, Buddha avatar. Buddha avatar also Bhagwan had a specific reason for that avatar, and he had come in this Kali Yuga. And in future, there will be Kalki avatar. It will come in the end of this Kali Yuga. So the Kali Yuga will have less of avatars. So Kalki avatar. Then the Bhagavad Puran also mentions some other avatar. Prishni Garbha avatar, Hayagriva avatar, Hamsa avatar. And again another avatar will happen in Kali Yuga. It might have happened or it will happen. Is avatar where Bhagwan will come and tell the glory of Nam Sankirtan. Some believe that is our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some believe the name is not mentioned, but Bhagwan himself will come and he will tell the glory of Nam Sankirtan. Because in Kali Yuga, Nam Sankirtan is one of the most beautiful path, sahaj path, by which we can attain the Lord. So there are great saints who have come and they talk about this glory of Bhagwan's name. So these are the avatars mentioned in the scriptures, and whatever are mentioned, those avatars alone are there. So Ishvara's avatar, he says, Tani aham veda sarvani. All these avatars, I remember them all. I remember all of them. Why does he remember all of them? Because Bhagwan's knowledge never gets covered. He says, Aham punaha nitya shuddha buddha mukta svabhavatvat anavarana jnana shaktihi. Bhagwan's jnana shakti is not covered. Bhagwan never becomes ignorant. Bhagwan is never ignorant. His jnana shakti is never covered. Therefore, he remembers all these avatars. But jivas don't remember their past life. Few, sometimes by fluke, we remember. Little children, sometimes they remember their past life. But otherwise, normally, we don't remember. Past life of yesterday, we don't remember what happened. Forget about past life. Yeah? Why we don't remember? Shankaracharya ji says, because of this samskars which we have, which create these likes and dislikes, the kamana, which we saw in the last chapter, it covers our knowledge. So dharma dharmadi pratibaddha jnana shaktitvat. Our jnana shakti gets restrained because of this, all these samskars which are there, our likes and dislikes, which prevent us from knowing, remembering our past. It weakens our memory. Even in this lifetime, if our lot of desires are there, lot of likes and dislikes are there, then our memory becomes weak. We don't remember anything. We say like that. We don't remember. So, Tani aham veda sarvani natvam vedha parantapa. Hey Parantapa, you don't remember, but I remember all of them. So how exactly Bhagwan takes this avatar? What is the difference that Bhagwan now tells in the next verse? Ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavamyatma mayaya ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi. Bhagwan says कि by nature I am unborn. So ajaha api. By nature, my highest nature is such that I am unborn. But Bhagwan has got this power called Maya, by which he appears to take birth. This Maya is a very strange power of Bhagwan. That he appears to be something totally different from what he really is. Bhagwan, through this Maya Shakti, he not only creates this world, but this world also have a nature totally different from the nature of Bhagwan. That is his Shakti itself. So therefore it is said, Ajaha, though he is unborn by nature, but still appears to take birth. Ajopi san avyayatma. Again, Bhagwan's knowledge is avyay, is indestructible. Akshena jnana shakti svabhavaha. His jnana shakti doesn't get dispelled, disturbed. Therefore, there is no reason for Bhagwan to take birth. One is that he is unborn, so there is no question that he can take birth. Again, we take birth because of our ignorance. We have different desires. To fulfill those desires, we take birth. But Bhagwan's knowledge never gets covered because he is Avyayatma. Then third thing, Bhagwan says, Bhutanam Ishvaropi San. I am the Lord of all the beings. All beings means right from a tiny little ant to Brahmaji. All of them, I am their Lord. Brahmadi Stambha Paryantanam Ishvaraha. I am the Lord of all these beings. So therefore, I don't have to come. I don't have to take birth. Means nobody can force me. I am unborn. I have always I have that knowledge, and I am the Lord of everything. So there is no question that I am forced to take birth. See, the jivas, all of us, we are forced to take birth. Because as long as we have desires, we will be born again and again and again. In the 9th chapter, Bhagavan will tell how these jivas are born again and again. Like when we go to sleep, it is not the end of our story. Next day again we get up. Then many people say, मुझे और जन्म नहीं लेना चाहिए, मुझे नहीं चाहिए, I don't want to be born again. Again that fellow is born. Just by saying I don't want to be born and all, it doesn't help. We will be born again. Because helplessly, as long as we have these desires, as long as our Sukshma Sharir, we are tied down to this Sukshma Sharir, we will be born helplessly again and again. We have taken infinite lifetimes, infinite births. In these infinite births, we had infinite different types of families also. Just imagine, just from the family standpoint, infinite mothers we will have. Different varieties, in the sense, different types of mother. Animal, bird, plant. Different mother, different father, different family members, different brothers, sisters, different neighbors. Or pratyek, we are repeating our life. It is repetitive. We commit the same mistake. We have the same type of desire. We do the same thing. Except moksha, we have experienced everything in this world. Nothing is new to us as a jiva. We might not remember, but there is nothing new to experience in this world. We have become kings also in this world. We have become beggars also in this world. We have become animal, birds, plant. We have become both different type of genders also, and everything. Except moksha, we have experienced everything. But still, we continue with that because we forget. We think that usi mein sukh hoga. So we keep on repeating the same thing again and again. So how does Bhagwan takes birth? He says, Prakritim swam adhishthaya, my Prakriti, that is my Maya, which is this Trigunatmika Bhagwan's Maya. That Bhagwan, with the help of that Maya, Bhagwan appears in different forms. So as Krishna, as Rama, as Varaha, as Narsimha, as all these avatars which Bhagwan takes, he says that holding that Prakriti in my control, I take different forms. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya, by my own Maya, by my own Prakriti, I take forms. So different life forms Bhagwan take. So in all these life forms, Bhagwan remembers his own nature, but he appears. He takes birth. So he continuously takes birth. Always Bhagwan also takes birth, and always we also take birth. This is a unique thing which is there, mentioned in our scriptures about Bhagwan's avatar. We are not talking about other things like jivas are many, and jivas they are born again and again also. They are not called avatar. Only when Bhagwan comes and manifests, it's called avatar. That word avatar is only reserved for this. We can't change the meaning of the word avatar as per our own. But actually, avatar is such a glorious thing that many times people out of their own faith, किसी को भी फिर then avatar we say. But that is not proper. So why does Bhagwan take avatar? And when does he take avatar? That is the question. So that he says, these are famous verses. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam shrujamyaham yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Dharma, as mentioned, pravrutti dharma and nivrutti dharma. This twofold dharma is there. That now and then the glani happens to the glani means it becomes little weak. जैसे कोई चलते चलते किसी को ग्लानी होती है ना, चक्कर आ जाती है. हाँ, not that it is dead, but it becomes weak. So Bhagavan says, after a passage of time, once in a while, the dharma becomes little weak. What is dharma? That based on this varnashrama and that we have to perform our duties, pravrutti dharma, and then leading to the nivrutti marga, this dharma sometimes becomes weak. And why it becomes weak? Various reasons are there. People get attached to bhoga, instant bhoga and all, and slowly it becomes weak. So, dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya, and the adharma rises. People following the path of adharma, paradharma, etc., they rise. This also happens in a natural process. Just like when we wake up in the morning, the whole atmosphere is very fresh, but by the evening it becomes little malin and dusty and malin and all. But then, and at night, the whole environment is different. But again the sun rises, and again the whole Srishti appears fresh. Similarly, as the time goes, our mind of human being becomes little malin. So this is this process. Satya Yuga is there. All the jivas, they have fresh mind. Everything is so nice. Everyone is following dharma and all. By Treta Yuga comes, little bit of impurity comes. Dwapar Yuga, more impurity. Kali Yuga, total impurity. Then after many years of this impurity, then again total transformation in the whole humanity and environment will be there, and again Satya Yuga will come. So this will go on and on and on and on, endlessly. So Bhagavan says, Abhyutthanam dharmasya, when adharma rises and when dharma goes down, tada atmanam shrujami aham, that time I manifest myself, I come. And also Bhagavan gets an opportunity to come. He also feels nice. जैसे कोई सिनेमा होता है तो उसमें कभी कभी the director or producer, he also acts in that. There used to be that great director, producer, Alfred Hitchcock. He used to have that Bhayanak movies he used to make. And in every movie he will appear. Little role, he might be just walking across, but he will be there. He had his speciality like that. Every movie he wants to be there. So similarly, this Bhagavan also takes a role in this world process. He comes. So why does he come? What does he do? So that Bhagavan says in the next verse, परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। हाँ, परित्राणाय साधूनां, टू प्रोटेक्ट द साधु. Sadhu means Sanmargasthanam. Those who follow the path of goodness are called sadhu. Sadhu means good. Good means one who follows the path of righteousness. One who follows the path of goodness is called sadhu. Sadhu has got nothing to do with dress actually. अभी कलियुग में वो सूक्ष्म तत्व हमको समझ में नहीं आता है तो ड्रेस पे सब हम मान लेने लगते हैं. एंड देन वी फ्राइटन द चिल्ड्रन ऑल्सो. खाना नहीं खाओगे तो साधु आके पकड़ के ले जाएगा. सो दैट इज संस्कार वी गिव देम फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड. सो वेन एवर दे सी समवन विद दिस दे गेट फ्राइटन. सो खाना भी हजम होता है और धर्म भी नहीं आता है फिर जीवन में, बिकॉज दे गेट स्कैर्ड कि मम्मी ने कहा है साधु लेके जाएगा तो. सो साधु मीन्स अ गुड पर्सन इज कॉल्ड साधु. हाँ, परित्राणाय साधूनाम. गुड पर्सन मीन्स अ पर्सन हु इज सात्विक, हु फॉलोज द पाथ ऑफ धर्म, हु फॉलोज ऑल वैल्यूज. बट what happens, those who are sattvic, they are always their obstructions happen through rajasic or tamasic people. Rajasic people disturb them, tamasic also disturb them, and sometimes they themselves cannot protect. See, the more subtler and more refined we become, sometimes outwardly physically a person may become very soft and very nazuk also. So they need protection from someone else. See, even in nature we find that where we see the sign of great beauty and all, it's very soft also. Like the flowers, soft. Or little children, they are very innocent, but they are also very weak. They need protection. So similarly, the sadhus who follow this path of goodness, sometimes they get disturbed by other asadhus and all. So Bhagavan says, I come to protect them. I take care of them. It is my duty to take care of them. Again in Gita, elsewhere, further Bhagavan says in the 9th chapter and all, that I protect them. Ananyaschantayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nithyabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamiham. I take care of their yogakshema. I protect them. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschita durgatim tat gacchati. Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotees never perish. I take care of them. So this is one of Bhagavan's vow, to take care of the good people. So many people, they are afraid to follow the path of goodness because they feel it will be, people will take advantage, it will be my weakness and all. But no, Bhagavan is there, he will protect. So paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, to destroy those who are asadhus, those who follow the path of adharma. Bhagavan says, I take birth to destroy them. And dharma sansthapanarthaya, to establish the path of dharma. Through his own life, Bhagavan established the path, or by teaching, like as Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he taught this Bhagavad Gita. As Ramchandra ji, he followed that path. In various ways, Bhagavan re-establishes dharma. Whenever he is born, Bhagavan established the Vedic dharma. So paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya च दुष्कृताम धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय sambhavami yuge yuge. In every yuga, Bhagwan is born. So this is his great avatar. We found that in Ramayana also, that when the whole dharti was disturbed by all these adharmis, Ravan was there and all his people, they started creating a lot of nuisance in the society, and they started creating obstacle in yajna. Our Vishwamitra and others who were following the path of this dharma, a lot of obstacles started coming in their way. Everyone became unhappy. So all of them prayed to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan says, yes, I will take birth. I will be born in Dashrath and Kaushalyaji's home, and then I will take care of all this. See, in every yuga, Bhagwan takes birth, but in every yuga, the parents are different, because the parents are jivas only, and they also finally attain moksha. So दूसरे जीव जो है उनके पेरेंट बन जाते हैं और कोई उनके पेरेंट बन जाते हैं. सो इन रामायण ऑल्सो दे हैव मेंशन कि इस युग में ये पेरेंट बन गए, उस युग में वो पेरेंट्स बन गए. इन वन युगा इवन मनु एंड शत्रुपा दे हैड बिकम दशरथ एंड कौशल्या. इन सम युगा सम अदर हैड बिकम. सो इन दिस वे इन डिफरेंट युगास डिफरेंट जीवास बिकम भगवान्स पेरेंट्स, एंड ही कम्स and does this threefold work of protecting the good, destroying the evil, and re-establishing dharma. So these are the very famous verses, but lot of other things are there which we will see in our session in September. Now we will conclude with a prayer and we will meditate for some time. Close your eyes. All of us are jivas. We have identified with our body, our mind, intellect, ego, memory, our senses. We have confined ourselves in these little bodies. We interact with other jivas. We live in this world interacting with other jivas and experiencing joys and sorrows. We keep fulfilling our desires, but even after fulfilling many desires remain unfulfilled. So we have to take another birth. So we are born again and again. Ishvara is one who knows all the jivas. He knows the karma of all the jivas. He is the one who gives the results of all our actions. When we follow the path of dharma, and when we gain the knowledge, we become free of the body, gross body as well as the subtle body. We become free of this identification and we become one with Ishvara. In Kali Yuga, the simple sadhana is to remember Bhagwan's name. Remember Bhagwan through his name. One of his most beautiful name is Ram. So please repeat after me. Ram. 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 ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।